about to start.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of No Conduct Radio. Today we are talking about why your childhood baggage is affecting or may be affecting your relationship. So, did you bring your baggage from, growing up with your family, I guess with high school boyfriends, into your current relationship? We're going to talk about how it's done, why it's done, and how you can prevent it. We also have our sponsor, a book by Catherine Moore called Elementals, Mystic Warriors, and we'll go ahead and discuss that later. And right now, we have Char on the phone. Logic did have a rant to share with us that he didn't even tell me about. I guess it was a surprise, but he's not even here. So currently it's just me and Char. Hey, Char.
Hey, how are you, Kai?
I'm fine. I'm trying to eat my spaghetti because I started cooking late and I don't want to wait for dinner.
Okay, spaghetti sounds really yummy, except we had a potluck here at the office for Easter, and Charles is like, I'm not participating in any pagan rituals or holidays. I don't want to have anything to do with it. He goes in there and he sees all this spread. They had 2 or 3 different flavors of chicken, like a big rotisserie chicken breast and all kinds of wings. They had like 3 different types of sandwiches. They had 3 or 4 different salads. Someone made 2 different cobblers, like different flavored cobblers. They had homemade cookies. They had 5 or 6 different boxes of different donuts, even vegan donuts. Can you believe that? Dips and everything. I said, what about this Easter thing now? What is that again? Pizza? Everything. So he was all over it. It was so funny. Otherwise, your spaghetti would tempt me if I wasn't so full right now.
Well, just because I'm eating your food, you don't have to eat food to celebrate a holiday. So just because I'm eating your food doesn't mean I'm celebrating, but I would totally eat up all your food.
No, I agree. Okay, they also had colored Easter eggs. He goes, if I eat the food, it's going to be supporting the ritual itself and the holiday itself, and it's all pagan. I don't have nothing to do with it. Look, he was talking a lot of that smack, Kai, in the morning. When it was time to serve or whatever, when they brought all the food out, I think it was like, 1 o'clock, everyone was hungry. I'm telling you, his whole tune changed. It didn't matter. I'm like, what difference does it make? What does it matter? Like, no one said you had to get an Easter egg, but, like, you can eat everything else. It doesn't mean, do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's stupid. The food's going to taste just as good or bad or however it's going to taste, depending on who cooks it, but, So it turned out nice. Everybody was happy, and it was good.
For you to think you're supporting the holiday, you have to actually feel like that's why you're eating the food. If you're eating the food because you're hungry and you like food, then you're eating food because you're hungry and you like food.
I totally agree. You know what threw them off is one of the sponsors said, oh, yeah, are you guys going to participate in the Easter potluck today? Or, well, they asked me yesterday, Easter potluck. He heard that word, and then the lady goes, oh, we're definitely going to have Easter eggs, we're going to color Easter eggs. I was sitting here like, oh, why did she say that to that man? But once he got hungry, it didn't matter. they're still walking back and forth anymore.
I've been this way my whole life. It's not me just jumping into a fad that everybody's doing. So, no, around Christmas they would say, we're bringing cookies for Christmas party at school or whatever. And I'd say I'm eating cookies. I wouldn't say I'm eating Christmas cookies. Or if somebody said, are you participating in the Easter potluck? I'll say, I'll be there for the potluck.
Right, exactly.
And I may even go far as making a joke like, I'll be there for the potluck. I don't know about Easter, but I'm there for the potluck.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But it was nice, though. I mean, I just love to eat. I just live for food. I don't live for food to where I'm just being irresponsible and I'm gaining like 600 pounds. I just mean that I feel like food is it's such an important part of memories. It's a part of experiences that you'll remember in life with your family, your friends. It gives us a reason to travel and want to try new things, or even to get out at new restaurants in your area. So I just love to take advantage of, trying new things too, and just celebrating different cultures. So to me, food is an experience. It's not just a necessity, because I'm a foodie, and then I love to cook as a gourmet cook as well. But a lot of people say, oh, I just eat because I have to every 4 hours. You know what I mean? Because you'll feel sick if you don't, right? So everybody has a different way that they look at that, a different view on it. But at the end of the day, you got to eat anyway. Why not enjoy it? And spaghetti is definitely something that
I always make jokes that I always make jokes that I have a fat person stuck inside of me.
So are you a foodie too, or you just enjoy certain food that's good? Because a foodie just likes a lot of new things constantly and likes to try and experiment, cook all types of different things. And do you consider yourself a foodie, or you just like just food in general?
I mean, I just like food in general. I'll try different things, but there's some things I'm not trying. So I like sushi, but I will not eat raw fish. I only eat vegetarian sushi. So I'm not doing it. I just can't get around the fact that the meat is raw.
Okay, but see, here's the kicker, though. A lot of people don't realize that sushi, it just represents su and shi. It just represents rice and vinegar. That's what those two words mean, su, vinegar, and then su, vinegar, shi, rice. And so people think that it means raw fish. Raw fish is just the most popular way to eat it traditionally, but there are so many options. It's so funny because when I was 9 years old, my mother's best friends were Korean, and they taught us how to make sushi literally from scratch. So as a child, I'm learning how to get the seaweed, the nori, and I'm learning about the different fresh ingredients, and so I'm learning how to actually make it as a child, and now I do. But I learned also at the same time that my mom and I don't like raw fish. So many years ago, we started discovering, do you realize you can get tempura batter? You can get, so many different options of sushi. Now the menus will give you an option that says fried or baked. There's something called Japanese lasagna, for example, which is a very popular sushi, but it's baked. So there's so many other ways to eat it. You don't have to eat it raw. The people definitely, it's a mindset in the United States. They automatically assume it means raw fish, but it actually doesn't represent that. It means rice vinegar, rice vinegar, because of the process and what they use. That's hilarious, though. But I can definitely get the concept in your mind. Now, what I will eat that's raw is the sea urchin and the eel, the water eel, which is a snake, right? Yeah, because I like the taste of the eel.
Yeah, but I'm not eating eel.
But anyway, I'm just
saying I'm not eating eel.
Yeah, but but again, if you ever did like the concept of sushi, when you go to any restaurant now, they will have a deep fried options where they fry the entire thing, or if that's not healthy enough sounding to you, you can still have tempura, which means it's either lightly blanched or smoked or whatever, and then it has the crunchies, which means that it doesn't have to be raw. So that's so great to know that for people that might want to experiment or try it and say, I don't want anything raw. That's fine. My mom introduced me to, and don't laugh, but there's this place here called Sushi Samba. Well, she didn't introduce me to that, but they have steak and chicken options, which sounds crazy because sushi could be so many things that you fill it with. You know what I mean? So. If you I don't know if you remember.
I know it's not just raw fish. Obviously, like I said, I eat the vegetarian form of it. I eat it in a lot of different vegetarian forms. But I also know it's not just raw fish. It's different ways. But I just prefer it vegetarian.
Yeah.
And the first sushi I had was in high school. And I forgot where he was from, but this kid's mom made the sushi for us, and it was homemade, and it had the seaweed on the outside. That was the first time I had seaweed. It was so good.
The nori,
oh my
that's
gosh,
exactly
it was so
what
good.
I was saying. Yeah, that's the nori.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just saying. What I learned, I think it was my favorite, because that's just how I was introduced to it as a child. So when I make it now, that's my favorite way to do it anyway. But let me just ask you one last question about this subject. Are you one of those people? Okay, when they came around yesterday, around to everyone at our office, all the different stations, and they were like, "Who wants to, purchase potluck? We give a certain amount or whatever." And you know how many people always say this? "Oh, Char, I don't eat anyone else's cooking, so I don't want anything. I'm not going to eat anyone's cooking but my own or someone that I know." And so there was a lady that made the cobbler I told you about, and someone says to me, "Char, I don't know who she is, so I can't eat that." Does that make sense to you, or does it matter, or do you have to know the person, know if they're clean? Like, really?
I'm not one. I think the older I get, I'm becoming like that, but I'm not like that. But it's like knowing how nasty people are, I'm becoming like that. Logic is totally like that. If he doesn't know you and know, like, basically how you live and how you are, he's not eating from you. But
wow, so many people say that too.
Like I said, the older I get, I'm becoming like that, seeing how nasty people are, using the bathroom without washing your hands, starting to cook without washing your hands, touching the food without washing your hands. Oh, my gosh. Speaking of that, I should read, let me see if I can find this. On my personal Facebook, it was a story of someone who did that. And she was documenting the whole thing. They had a potluck at their business, and this girl was documenting the entire thing because she just couldn't believe how nasty this person was. Let me look for it. And while I'm looking for it, yeah. I'm going to read it to you. While I'm looking for it, hey, Logic.
What's up?
Hello?
Hi, Logic. Welcome.
Hey.
Char has the show playing like in the background or something, so you can hear an echo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I? I didn't realize that. Okay.
So, Logic, we were just talking about potlucks. She said her company just had a potluck. They did it for Easter, and then her boyfriend was all like, he's not helping to celebrate that pagan holiday, so he wasn't going to eat it because they called it Easter brunch. And I was like, well, I've been doing this my whole life. It hasn't just become a fad because everybody else is doing it. And just because they said Easter in front of it doesn't mean I'm not going to eat, because I'll just be like, I'm coming for the potluck, but I don't know about Easter or whatever.
Right.
Just because I'm eating the food doesn't mean I'm helping you celebrate. But she said as she was going around, or as people were going around asking who's going to participate in the potluck, a lot of people were saying that they don't eat from people they don't know, and she was asking if that was a thing. I said as the older I get, the more I'm turning into that, and I told her you're like that.
Oh, yeah.
What, are you like that? Yeah?
I can't. I don't care how clean you look or whatever. If you just bring, some food that you wrapped up, I don't. People's hands, I can't do it. I don't even really like shaking people's hands, to be honest with you. Because, you could have been in the car digging up.
But what about
What's
a buffet, Logic? You would eat at a buffet? I mean,
Hell
like, say
no.
a buffet that you pay for?
Hell
Logic
no.
doesn't do buffets. I could have told you that.
Oh, really? What about Golden Corral, one that everybody knows? Is
Hell no.
Really? He's really serious. What about you, Kai?
No.
Kai,
I remember I was in a hotel, and downstairs there was a breakfast buffet. It was a really nice one. They had like an omelet chef that was just there waiting for people to say, what kind of omelet they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's fine because it's a chef controlling whatever you're telling them to put in. But the other stuff, it was people. I'm gonna tell you what gets under my skin. When there's things there to stop you from being a fucking scumbag, and people just bypass that option. Like, there was a tray of bread, and there were these silver tongs hooked right on these things in front of the tray of bread. Do you know people were just grabbing the bread with their fingers and just putting it in? It's like, that's what the tongs are for. Like, what are you doing? Why? Why are you bypassing this and just grabbing it with your hand? This is what the tongs are here for.
That's disgusting.
But, they're, and they, completely oblivious. They're, good morning. And, you just ruined the toast for me. Go fuck yourself.
Wow.
So now I got to leave. You know what I mean? I got to go somewhere else. Then I saw some kid who was reaching for the spoon to get some potatoes. And, like, the kid's sleeve was all in the potatoes trying to get to the spoon. And I'm like, where's your parents? Why are you here by yourself? Like, you're tall enough to do this. Now your sleeve is getting in there, which I don't know where your sleeve has been now, because you could have been digging up your butt earlier, and now your sleeve with the butt juice is all in the potatoes now. So now I can't have potatoes. So now I'm just down to, omelets and coffee. Give me an omelet, please.
Yeah, like I was saying, the older I get and the more I pay attention, it gets me away from doing stuff like that. Even like, I'm actually, my appeal for restaurants has gone down about 40%. Just listening to like what people in restaurants do. I was listening to the Kevin and Bean. Shout out Kevin and Bean, love that podcast. And they actually had like a topic. Like, what have you seen that's nauseating in restaurants, being a person who works in a restaurant? And, oh, my gosh, the comments that came in, and they say people do certain things just because they don't like you. So I'm like, people could not like you just because of your face, and they'll put their balls in your drink just because of your face. But I'm like, I just, unless it's a closed drink, or I watched you pour it, or I'm watching you cook my meal, or it's a place I absolutely trust. Like, I don't even want to go to a restaurant anymore. Like, I just really don't. So, I don't know. But let me
Gordon Ramsay will ruin all of that for you, too. Like, if you see it on his show, like, he goes in these kitchens and starts going in the fridges, and you start seeing the state
that show.
of the food and how they store it, and everybody's oblivious. That's what I love. Like, what is this? Why is this here? What? And everybody's like, I don't know.
I'm like, how can you legit? Like, I wouldn't be able to. Like, you know how back in the day they'll say slaves spit in their slave masters' drink and stuff, but you would catch me because as I'm seeing you or I know you're about to eat it or drink it, I'm gagging. Like, I couldn't do it. Ew.
Yeah, you could.
I would just have to get revenge somehow.
Listen, if he sold your child to someone else and didn't care how much you cried and that child just had to be ripped from your arms, you would not give anything away. You would watch with glee him drink your loogie. You wouldn't care.
No, logic, please, seriously. I just ate. Oh, my gosh. Now I got to get that out of my head because I'm really feeling nauseated. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Lord have mercy. I'm trying to scrub that from my memory. If y'all heard me say, hold on, it's because I'm going to throw up.
I was just trying to, I just gasped. I gasped. Like, is that what I heard? Oh, my God, it's so gross.
Yeah, I don't know what you heard, and I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to repeat it.
I don't want to repeat it. Don't worry. I just wanted to make sure that it's like, is that what I thought I heard? Okay. All righty.
I can't. Okay, so let me read this to you real quick. All right, so this woman, like I said, had a potluck at her job. So she's updating, and this is from @CaveOfBeauty on Twitter. So she's updating and letting you know what's going on with her potluck. My coworker brought raw chicken to the potluck today. And then she goes, and yes, he is. Then she goes, here's an update. He brought a deep fryer too. There are no spices in sight. He's put in bare chicken in the fryer and then put in the sauces on them after. And yes, he said that's the seasoning. So he goes, she then puts a picture of him doing, like touching the chicken. And she says, he's touching it with his bare hands, too. Please send help. Next update. I'm literally shaking right now. I need my inhaler. He's just casually walking around the room, touching things after touching raw chicken. This entire place is contaminated. Oh, my God. Update. he just bit into one. He just bit into one to see if it's cooked. It's still raw. Another update. Another coworker. Wow, I really appreciate you going out of your way. Raw chicken guy. It's what I love to do. And then she goes, please stop doing it. Next update. He keeps offering me the salmonella, and I'm down in pizza slices just to say I'm full. I don't even eat pizza anymore. I've had 3 slices in 20 minutes. One of my coworkers who ate the wings just said, yo, my stomach kind of hurts. I don't know what's wrong. Salmonella is what's wrong. I'm watching natural selection happen in real time. Another update. I forgot to tell y'all the worst part. To sauce the wings, he was putting them in Tupperware, and instead of tossing them, he turned them with his bare fingers and licked his fingers a few times to get the sauce off, then continued to put sauce on the rest of the chicken. Next update. My coworker had to leave early because she's dead-ass sick. He offered to make more tomorrow, and I immediately said, no, today was enough. And he laughed it off, but, sir, I am being serious. Next update. After today, I've concluded that this is a toxic and hostile work environment. I have to go. For reference, it's my third week here. Everything has been going great so far. Dope environment, culture, dope people, great pay, great benefits. But this, I can't move past this. So I was dying laughing when I read that because I could feel, look, the part where he just was touching up everything after touching chicken, I couldn't deal. I would actually take Clorox wipe and walk behind him. And I would say, hey, please, can you just go wash your hands? I couldn't deal. I couldn't touch anything. I when it comes to chicken, I don't want to say I have OCD because I know, there's people with OCD, but I have a real problem. If I'll watch where water drops. Like if I'm washing chicken or somebody else is doing it, I'll watch where the water drops. I know where to clean. I can't deal. After I do chicken, I wash my sink twice with paper towels, then once with a sponge, and this is all soap and hot water. And then I wipe it down with a Clorox wipe, and then I let it sit for a little while. So I couldn't deal. And for me to watch him bite chicken and it was raw. Who tests chicken like that? You bite into it? Like, oh
Is
my
that
God.
the test? Oh, man.
I've never, ever in my life seen that happen. I've seen people put a thermometer in it. I've seen that. But for the most part, I see them look to see if there's clear juices running out of it, and then you take a fork and you peel back and you see if it's like red on the bone or something.
Right, that's the easiest way. Take a fork and if you have a thermometer, my God, this piercing and blood will come right out if it's not done. Oh my gosh.
This guy bit
so
it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Yeah, that was crazy. So
that was like a blog?
That was my potluck story for you.
Oh, my gosh, that was very interesting. Very interesting, kind of scary to think that, there's people out there who are so unclean.
Well, that's why people don't eat from people they don't know. Can you imagine if he did that at home and you didn't know that's how he cooks it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, to me, this whole situation is avoidable because all you got to do is either not go or not eat from other people. But when you're in a restaurant or you go somewhere and you just see somebody with bad, like I said, with just bad etiquette, it's like they're just doing stuff. You're paying to be there. Like I said with the hotel situation, I used to go to this restaurant, but when I would get there, if I would notice a certain waiter working, I would tell the hostess, I don't want to be in his section. Give me anybody else's section.
Oh, shoot, for real?
But not his. Yeah, because he had a habit of when he brought your plate, he would hold your plate in a way where his thumb or one of his fingers would have to wrap around like onto the serving side. Like he doesn't have the proper holding your plate technique. Like this dude is like bring your plate like somebody in your house. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, I don't want take the whole plate away, because your thumb was wrapped around onto the plate. Oh, yeah.
I think I take that for granted because I've never actually seen somebody put their finger in my plate. So I always took it for granted.
No, because usually they have enough common sense to use a tray where they'll bring multiple plates, or they'll ask someone else to bring the other 2 plates. Like, hey, listen, I'm going to take these 2. Can you grab these other 2 and bring them out to table, whatever, instead of trying to bring everything. Instead of trying to bring everything on your own and start hooking your fingers into, drives me crazy.
That's why they have the tray too. Plus it's easier. Oh God,
that's
weird.
Kind of disgusting.
You guys,
so that answers your question, Char.
Thank you, but maybe it's me the way that I was raised. I think I'm still guilty of these buffets because the way I was raised. My mom, she's this, ambassador and everything, so she travels to all these countries all the time. So I think the way she raised me was, it's polite to try whatever, the different hosts, what has cooked for you. You don't say no, you don't turn it down, and you don't turn your nose up, and you go ahead and eat it. And, I think this has just been life all the time, so maybe that's why I'm so open about buffets. And then I live in the buffet capital of the world, and so it's like I never really thought about how many issues there probably are. I guess I've never really been, particularly sick with eating other people's food or just going to these buffets, but a lot of people do have bad experiences, but I just take it for granted. There's a buffet. Oh, I love it because I get so many choices. So many different types of food I can choose, different ethnicities or whatever. Like at
we understand how buffets work. It's just the the cleanliness behind it. When you have some kind of kitchen that you don't see bringing out steam trays worth of food, and you don't know what they're doing back there, that's usually a bad sign. I just don't do it, especially Asian buffets. And not to say. Not anything particularly for them, but it's because a lot of their stuff that they cook is either smothered in sauces or it's deep fried, and that's a very easy way to hide old meat. If you fry it real hard or if you smother it in some kind of sweet sauce, it's hard to tell that the meat is old.
Yes, true. Or
that the meat isn't what you say the meat is.
Yeah,
and I honestly, that's not even poking fun at Asians. That's in general, even if it was like
Indian food too, because they use a lot of those heavy spices, and it's like you don't know how old that stuff is. I don't do it.
I mean,
but I was going to say,
you don't know what it is at that point. No.
I was going to say, there's actually been reports. Like, you remember when they did 2020 reports and stuff like that? You remember?
Yeah, they do that periodically. Well, they do it every so often.
They used to do 2020 reports. So they used to go undercover and really expose things. And buffets were being exposed as, like, a lot of the stuff that they had out. You know how you're supposed to only have food out for a certain amount of time? And, a lot of the foods that they had out, they were older than they're supposed to be out. And, I heard a lot of bad things about buffets.
They wouldn't have passed inspection anyway. Well, a lot of those restaurants, sometimes they even shut them down until they can be up to code. Okay, well, Kai, I know we're dragging this subject, but I just have to ask one other question since we've been talking about this whole food thing. Okay, do you guys feel like you shouldn't complain at a restaurant? Okay, for example, Charles told me when he was younger, this is when he was way younger, maybe 16, he worked at Taco Bell. The manager told him at Taco Bell that
Taco Bell is not a restaurant.
Oh, okay, fast food, excuse me. I just mean, okay, you know what? I mean fast food or food experience in general with a restaurant or fast food. Okay, so like that. And then prepared food. And then so he tells me, oh, yeah, the manager would say if a particular customer comes in, he complains all the time, or certain customers, he said, if he wants a burrito, he would say, okay, go to the bathroom, wipe the tortilla, the toilet with that tortilla, and then go ahead and make his burrito for him. Now he can have a very special one. And then when he literally this is what he's telling the workers to do, like the actual employees. And so it's like, here's a special burrito. You ordered a special one. Here you go. And everyone's smirking that's working there. But my point is this: when we go out to eat, he will absolutely not permit me to make any tiny complaint. If I'm not happy with the service, I'm not happy. I want to say something. If I feel like the waiter's taking 1,000 years to come back, I want to say something in a polite way. But he says don't ever do that, because trust me, Char, if you knew what happens in the back when you complain about your food, you would never complain about your food under any circumstances. You would just, you know what I mean? You would just grin and bear it. So how do you guys feel about complaining in a restaurant? Would you hold your peace, don't say anything for the fear that they might spit in it, or God forbid something else, or what do you do?
I try not to complain, and if I do, it's like something's really wrong with my food, and I'll apologize profusely, but it has to be something really wrong with my food. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be a complaint, but I'll just be like, I ordered this with onions, but there's no onions in there. If it's no trouble, can you please put onions in there or something like that? And I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I was just really looking forward to onions, or, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Logic, how do you handle that at restaurants?
Well, yeah, I don't really mess with fast food like that anymore.
No,
just a restaurant, period. How do you handle that?
We're just saying restaurant.
Can I get through my statement, please? Thank you. Lord.
By all means, carry on.
Anyway, I'm not. If they get something wrong, like if I have something that I didn't ask for, I'll tell them. Like I didn't want onions on this or whatever. But if it's the overall service is bad and the food is bad, I just won't go back. Or sometimes I've left. Like I'll be like, I'm not eating here, and I'll leave. I remember when I was in like 11th grade.
Like you won't pay for it, or what?
I'm just leaving. I'm not going to finish it. You know what I mean? If it's
maybe not
really that bad.
Tip? No tip?
No. Tip is gratuity. If the service was bad, you're definitely not getting a tip. I've done that before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What was I about to say? When I was in 11th grade, I remember my brother, he kept talking about Denny's. I'd never been to Denny's. And he so he took me there one morning, and we went, and it was just, the service was so terrible. And I'm looking at him like, this is, you like this place? And he's like, yeah. So anyway, the coup de grace for me was I ordered a waffle or something. And just, regular waffle eating experience and pancakes. What goes with waffles? What should you bring out to the table with waffles? Syrup.
Butter.
I think they brought the waffle. The waffle wasn't even really hot. It was just like kind of warm a little. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and then they brought out syrup in these little bowls. Kind of look like a dish that would have a dip in it that you would use for another food, like say if you had like a chicken finger or something. It looked like a little thing that you would put on. So I'm like, what is this?
It's open. It's just open.
And she was just like, this is the syrup. I said, you bring the syrup out in bowls? Well, this is all we got. You're like a breakfast joint. You don't have syrup for the table? Like, you don't? Nah, that's how and I just looked at my brother. I said, you serious?
I never heard of it.
Are you serious?
They brought a fly trap out. That would be so gross.
And that's like diners. Like, I don't know why people love diners. I went to a diner one time again. It was like French toast or pancakes. They brought out syrup that was like the kind of syrup that you would get in a like a gas station where you peel back the top of it. You know what I mean? And just pour it out of these little cups. You know what I mean? Like you know those kind of like what Burger King would give you to dip the French toast sticks in.
Yeah.
I'm like, for real? This is the kind of service you got? No, I'm good.
Wow. I just don't go to Denny's because there was a news story way back in the day that the owner was racist or something. So
this was years before that came out. This is years and years before that thing came out. I'm just saying, like, I'm not. I stopped going to Denny's for that reason. You know what I mean? I've never been to the Waffle House ever, because it's just every time I've seen one, it looks like a place where you could probably get some.
Dingy. I just think it looks dingy. Go ahead.
Nah, okay.
Go ahead, Logic.
Okay, I guess it died down there.
I just had a flashback. I'm just saying it looks dingy to me, but I do go there.
I mean, I have been to the Waffle House because that's the place to go in the South.
Yeah.
So I've been there. I don't know if maybe it's different in the South than up here. I don't know. But yeah, I've been to the Waffle House, but being up here, that also made me bougie too. Like, I wouldn't go to the Waffle House here because there's so many diners up here. You don't really have diners in the South.
Here.
You have. Oh, well, I was going to say, you don't really have diners in the South. You have the food chains. You have Denny's. You have IHOP. You have Waffle House. There's some others. I can't remember them. But you don't have just, like, the diner on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Westchester Diner. You don't have that in the South.
If it's a small town in the South, but the larger cities have the
Well, if you're in a small town in the South and you're black, you don't belong there anyway. So...
Eating breakfast, right?
I was just saying, I wouldn't eat. Man,
what do you mean eating breakfast? You don't belong there living. Some small town in the South is a black man.
Even if I was passing through, I'm passing through, coming up to the north or going out west or something. I'm not stopping at a small town diner. Are you crazy?
Okay, you guys,
listen. You know how I decide whether or not I'm going to stop in the town in the South if I'm driving through. I check to see if they have if they have a Starbucks or if they have some kind of major Chipotle or something like that. If they don't have that, I don't stop. Because that means that this is such a shit kicker area that you people in this place don't like coffee a certain type of way. Instead, it's like just gas station coffee is good enough for you.
Starbucks,
I don't do it. Even though I hate Starbucks. I hate Starbucks, but Starbucks tells you about the demographic that you have in that area. You know, so if it doesn't have that kind of stuff, that's not a place I'm stopping.
So it's somewhat bougie-ish. You feel like it's safer.
I only stop if I see diversity. If I don't see any kind of diversity, I'm not stopping there. I don't care. Just imagine if you're driving though. Like if you're driving through, you don't know what kind of diversity is there. You're in your car. You know, you don't know what's there.
There's cows. There's cows. What diversity is that? Like the people are in their houses.
So you have to kind of look it up and see if they don't. You know, like if it's the Midwest, and that's a place that like. If you call up the local Dunkin' Donuts, but they don't have bagels, then that's not a place to stop.
Who doesn't have bagels?
No, because it's kind of an upscale added item.
Kai, I'm telling you right now, they are parts.
It's an upscale added item. All Dunkin' Donuts do not have a bagel. Every Dunkin' Donuts offers more of an upscale added item.
It's a chain. It's just a chain. Some Dunkin' Donuts just do donuts and coffee, and that's it. Like when I was driving through Montana one time,
No,
what?
Go ahead.
When I was driving through Montana one time, the local Subway didn't have salad, and the Dunkin' Donuts didn't have bagels.
All right, I've seen that happen.
That let me know everything I needed to know.
I think it would actually, like, I would be dumbfounded for a second. Like, did you say you didn't have bagels? Like, that would be so. I mean, I went to Atlanta, seriously. So I'm used to up here now. You could find salads on. They have a super salad. Like you can find salads at they have a salad bar at the grocery store. Like have salads everywhere up here, and I've gotten used to it up here. And I went to Atlanta, and one day, which is very rare for me, but one day I was craving a freaking salad. And everywhere that had salad was like the fat people salad. So it was like, you know, it had all
the prepackaged salad with the ham and bacon in it.
Yeah, and it had all this cheese, it had all this bacon, it had like
iceberg lettuce,
5 eggs in it, and you know, it was, and I was like, I just want a regular salad. I couldn't, and I'm not even making this up, I couldn't find one anywhere. I had to go buy my own ingredients and make my own salad. A simple salad I couldn't find.
Wow.
It was horrible.
One time I asked this place, I was driving to, I think it was in Arizona, and I was like, I was calling ahead. I said, I see you have salad. Do you have romaine, or is it just iceberg?
Or is it iceberg?
They was like, Roman. What do you mean Roman? We have just regular salad.
Never mind.
Oh,
never mind.
The other day, I know.
Yep.
The other day I was in the airport. I was in the airport in Charlotte with my sister flying back. We were both going to our prospective flights, and she wanted a salad at Wendy's. So she goes to Wendy's. She goes, okay, yes, I'll just have a salad. They're like, oh no, we're out of salad. There is no salad here. And they're like, she goes, well, how do you have no lettuce when you make burgers and you got to put lettuce on half of those? And they're just like, we don't have any salad, okay, lady. I think they're prepackaged. But who goes to Wendy's looking for a salad, though? I just looked at her like, you're a little strange. Why would you just expect that they would, why would they have a full
don't they have like certain
anybody?
salads, like strawberry salad or some crap like that on the menu?
Yeah, they have
salads
on the menu, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah,
but
so
why
if you
would
have
they be
salads
plentiful?
on the menu, you should be able to order a salad.
Yeah, but my thing is, why would they be plentiful on the menu as if they have this overabundance of extra salads when it's a burger joint? That's my point. Those are just spillover items that they've had on the menu for a while for people that want a healthier option as a side, or even as a meal. But I was just cracking them. She was like so irritated. Like, why would you?
Well, when I was pregnant, I went to Wendy's just for the baked potato with chives on top. Who would go to Wendy's just for a baked potato?
Okay, I get your point. Yeah, that's not a burger. But they've had those forever, though. They've had those. They started that trend at fast food places. Like, they've had those for, 30 years? Probably longer than you've been alive. So I kind of get
what
how...
trend?
What was that?
They started what trend?
The baked potatoes. Wendy started the baked potatoes trend, and other.
They're the only ones that do it. No one else sells baked potatoes.
Actually, you know what? You're absolutely right. When I said trend, I'm thinking other places do. No, they don't. Not fast food. No, they don't. So you see my point?
No,
it's special.
nobody else.
They've had baked potatoes forever. They have, but anyway.
But again, Wendy's has their own certain salads. Like I said, they have weird salads like a cranberry salad or strawberries in your salad. Stuff other places doesn't do. So maybe that's what she wanted. Mm-hmm.
It's just a shame. It's a shame because certain areas in the country, though, like everything is meat, fried, or some kind of pizza. It's like there's no options for people that really just want to do something healthy.
Well,
and
that was Atlanta
if you
for
spend
me.
a lot of time,
so mad.
If you spend a lot of time on the road or whatever, it gets to a point where you can kind of feel yourself starting to die. You're like, oh God, I can't eat another piece of pizza or like you just want to feel healthy, and it's just like everybody's looking at you like you're crazy. We don't have any of that here. You go to a gas station or something like that, you see a salad that's been there since the Cold War, and the lettuce it's more white than green. It's weird looking.
Ew.
And that's the only option. No, for real. Like, think of how many places you've gone to where their salad is made up of iceberg lettuce. Like, even saying this now, there's probably going to be people that like, what's wrong with iceberg lettuce? But they don't realize that's like the cheapest, most tasteless lettuce that you can get. They no spring mix.
Iceberg lettuce
no kale,
is basically like eating celery. It's no nutrients in it at all. You're just wasting your time, actually.
Yeah.
Hello? Is anybody
Yes.
there? All right, well, on that note, with iceberg lettuce, nasty restaurants, and, Char picking up salmonella poisoning today, let's move on. So, like I said, today we were going to talk about why your childhood baggage is affecting your relationship. We're going to talk about how it's done, why is it done, and how we can prevent it. I was so excited and so intrigued by whatever rant Logic was supposed to have today, but we've run out of time. I really want to know, so you're going to have to tell me off air. I want to hear it.
This was the foodie show today, so sorry about that. Kind of ran with all the food.
I know, right? But maybe if we have time at the end of the show, because I'm really curious about it. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to commercial. We're going to talk about this book, Elemental Mystic Warriors by Catherine Moore. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how your childhood baggage is affecting your relationship. And if you want to chime in, you can definitely go ahead and text us your questions, or if you want to give advice on something like that's happened to you in terms of, childhood baggage ruining your relationship, you can text us at our hotline at 484-840-3627. That's 484-840-3627. We'll be right back.
Kai here from No Conduct Radio. So I was going through Amazon to find the perfect book for y'all, and I came across Elemental Mystic Warriors by Catherine Moore. Enter into the enchanting world of the mystic warriors, where an ageless society of gifted and powerful supernatural beings exist, unknown to man, with magic and the ability to control the elements of nature and use these abilities to fight the forces of darkness. Desire, love, and adventure lie ahead for two unlikely souls destined to be together. A powerful shifter, telepath, and practitioner of magic, Bly LaCroix, is a true daughter of the earth. She's a descendant from a long line of elemental warriors and magical beings as a protector of mankind while living among normal man as one of them. The various roles she's assumed over time afforded her the secrecy necessary to fulfill her protective role to man. Andrew von Erickson, the oldest of the von Erickson triplets, born over 600 years ago. The situation surrounding their birth created the one-of-a-kind warrior that he and his siblings are. Known to the Society of Elemental as Daywalkers, they are a triple threat to combat the evil of the world. Due to the circumstances of his birth, Andrew exists in a world of isolation, expecting nothing, to never find a mate who can save him from the shadows that haunt his beings. To find out more, you can find Elemental's Mystic Warriors on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback. But to make it easier for you, you can visit our website at www.noconduct.com, go to NCR's books, and find out more about this book and the link to purchase it on Amazon.
And we're back. Again, if you have anything you want to add to our topic, why childhood baggage is affecting your relationship, you can text us at 484-840-3627. Now, for that commercial, Elemental Mystic Warriors, as I was recording it, my daughter was dying laughing. And then so after I was done, I was like, what are you laughing at? She was like, why did you change your voice like that? So that's why, in a nutshell, I can't be an actress because my daughter will ridicule me. Hello? Am I the only one here?
I was trying
I'm
to.
Here.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Y'all suck. So anyways, Logic, do you want to explain to our listeners what I mean by childhood baggage affecting your relationship?
I mean, in a nutshell, it can be a lot of different things from your childhood that could cause problems. I knew a girl who her mother was very antagonistic towards her. She had one of these mothers that clearly felt that after giving birth to her, somehow her glory days were over. So she really like took out a lot of her frustrations on her daughter. And then obviously sometimes what happens is the mother will then see this daughter as something either that she used to be or something that she could have been, because she's basically a younger version of her. So if she's not having kids, young in her life, and she's, found somebody that is treating her well or whatever the case, if the mother is unhinged and has done enough damage, she can start trying to mess up her relationship. So this girl, because she was constantly looking to gain her mother's approval, because, like I said, her mother really, I don't want to say hated her, but she resented her because she represented some end of some time that was for her. Everything she did in life, she was constantly like looking for her mother to approve of it, or to say, oh, you're really pretty, or you did a good job, and her mother wouldn't give her any of those compliments. So then that metastasized to her believing that she wasn't really attractive, and then once sexism starts to get involved in a young girl's life, then that's when dudes will, compliment you or do certain things in order to get to the sex. Then that became her routine of trying to feel important or feel attractive or feel like she's pretty or something like that. That was her kind of rhythm of flirting with guys and whatever in order to feel that way, because she had never gotten that feeling of being pretty or special from her mother. And that's the case with a lot of these girls.
Yeah, that's really sad.
That's a real damn shame. Like, why would
the mother
you have
lives
a kid?
vicariously through the daughter.
Why would you have a kid if you don't really want a kid? You think it's going to ruin your life? Why have one? Because somebody put it in your head that you shouldn't do other things?
It could be that. It could be they were trying to keep. It could be that they were trying. It could have been they were trying to keep a guy interested. Whatever. There's a lot of different reasons that somebody would have a kid, but why you would then look into,
I don't think that was the case. I don't think it's necessarily the case that she didn't, per se, want to have the child. But some people, some women, they live by.
Who are you talking about?
Aren't you just talking about the story you just told us about the lady?
How would you know? You don't know these people. What are you talking about? I don't think that's what it was.
Well, listen. Based on what you have given us, the information you've given us, I don't think it's necessarily that she didn't want to have her kid, because Kai just said, why did she have a kid? Why would anyone
let
have
me
a kid
guarantee
if they don't
you
want
something. This woman did not want her little girl at all. She didn't. I saw the way she treated her.
Okay.
It was only when she started to need money, and she was starting to be rejected by the other kid that's when she all of a sudden started reaching out to her daughter and wanting to be around her. Once it was beneficial for her, she did not want it at all. But the damage was already done. And now this girl is, crazy as cat shit, running around and being crazy because she's looking for approval from everyone now. Her girlfriends, guys, and perfect strangers on the internet, and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. So she's out of her mind.
So it's not a matter at all of living vicariously through your daughter because of what you couldn't do when you were younger and wishing that you had made other decisions and blaming your child for what you don't have now because you're older. It's not any of that. Am I wrong?
No, because when women are living vicariously through their daughters, that means that they are very, they're almost suffocated to their child, where they're always trying to make her be the best, and you could be pretty and you're gorgeous. You could be as gorgeous as your cousin so and so, and blah blah blah, and then making her take dance and, do this or whatever. That's living vicariously through your children. But to tell your child who, I don't know, likes to paint, they start painting and they bring home something, look what I did, get that out my face, I ain't got no time right now. That's not wanting anything to do with your kid. And that starts to become a complex in that child's mind, seeing their parent look at someone else and say, oh, be all excited about what they're doing, but then you bring something to the parent and they're like, look, get out my face, okay? Stop all that. You go to sing or something, and they're like, shut up all that noise. That sends a clear picture that I'm not good enough. So I need to either overachieve so they can see how good I am, or it becomes why I even try in life because my parents don't even want me, so I might as well just be nothing.
See, this then goes back to my question, which I know we had a conversation about this before. If you don't want a kid and somehow you accidentally or on purpose got pregnant, before you hit 4 months in your pregnancy, why would you not get an abortion? Why would you, just because everybody's telling you that they don't believe in it and the right thing to do is have a kid? But that doesn't make sense to me. So the right thing to do is have a kid and mess his life up?
Well, I mean, you're talking about somebody who would have to be aware of what they are. There's some people that are unaware of how much of a tyrant they are. Like, in their mind, they've convinced themselves that they're a good person, So they're trying. They would try to say, like, I don't know why so and so is complaining because I put food on the table and I blah blah blah. This is what they'll tell themselves to say that I'm a good parent, But ultimately, any parent that's hurting their child in an emotional way is self-centered. Because as a parent, if you are going to be worthwhile or a good parent, you would have to constantly evaluate your situation and evaluate yourself and to make sure, okay, am I being a good parent? What am I putting my kid through? Like these people that move constantly because they get a new job. Like you ever met some of these people that every 2 years or something they're moving and going somewhere else to another city? It's like that's, to me, that's a form of like abuse. Like you're teaching your kid not to ever invest in anything.
But then,
any people.
But then you're saying like everybody in the military is abusing their children, though.
It is, in my opinion. If you are active in the military and you're just constantly moving, you have to understand you're doing damage to your kid because your kid is not going to be able to really put roots down anywhere. So you're teaching them not to feel that anything is permanent. You know what I mean? So it may not be, you might not be doing it in a malicious way, but there's still damage where you can decide, okay, my family's going to live in Pennsylvania. Wherever I'm deployed to, I'll just be deployed to and have to grit my teeth through the situation. I know people that do that, where they're in the service, but their family is in one spot because they wanted their kids to be able to grow up and have a normal childhood.
But then to me that also is affecting your child because you're not going to be there a lot.
Yeah.
I know people who do that, and I know people who travel a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, you're saying it's like this is an answer or a rebuttal. When you have kids, things have to be almost ideal in the most perfect sense because you're talking about a person whose environment, who your attitude, if you haven't gotten the therapy that you need, if you haven't gotten into the right relationship that you should be in, all of this stuff is going to affect this person that you're bringing into this world. So if you haven't done enough, self-reflection to realize I have an anger problem, something's wrong with me, I need to figure out where that's coming from. Or I'm extra promiscuous. I let any man come in my house and he gets to move in for a while and then, we have an argument. He leaves and, I need to stop doing that. Or I'm chasing every chick out here who has a big butt and a smile. And, what am I doing? You need to figure all of that out. I'm in the military where it has me moving every 6 to 9 months where I have to, we're in a time of war and I have to keep being deployed and redeployed. And is this the right time for me to bring a kid into this world? You got to think all of that. You got to think about all of that.
Well, some people would argue with you that they joined the military to be able to take care of their family. They joined it for their kids.
Does that sound like it makes sense to you?
Well, I guess if they're not getting work, they don't have enough money, then the best option for them is to join the military.
But that means that you already had a kid without a plan. You know what I mean? Or whatever you were doing wasn't stable enough to sustain whatever lifestyle you had. Now you turn into the military. And it ain't just the military. It's like things like being a over-the-road truck driver. That's not ideal. Do people do it? Yeah, they do. But that's not, you're missing your family. You're away for weeks at a time.
That's true. That's,
Same thing with airline pilots. They gotta constantly fly away and go, and there's days before they get home. That's not. Is it a way to keep the bills paid? Yes, and I would never besmirch a person for finding a way to keep the roof over your head. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the most ideal situation to raise a child that's going to be balanced, loved, and healthy mentally, that's a very slippery slope, and it requires a lot of work. It requires a solid, healthy relationship between the parents, and it requires an understanding between the two of you. You can't have some dizzy dingbat that you have a baby with that's just running around like head in the clouds. You got to have somebody that's also on it where they can give you a call like, hey, I think something's wrong with Bobby. What do you mean? What are you talking about? He's acting weird, and I think we need to get him to talk to somebody. Something might be wrong with him. You need that kind of person that's going to be on it and watch it instead of, oh, that's just how he is, ignore it. No, you can't ignore that. Something's wrong with him. He's an asshole. That's another thing. People are very, apprehensive to call a kid an asshole. But sometimes there's kids that are 5 years old or something, that's a dick. Something's wrong with your kid.
Yeah.
Fix that. What are you talking about? He has a lot of energy. No, he's an asshole. Can you fix that?
And they grow up to be a bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets worse with time that goes by. It's just like I have a family member who has a daughter, and she is a little manipulative heifer. She knows how to use her mother and her mother's insecurities to get what she wants. I watch her work her mother constantly. But the mother's oblivious to it. No, she, sometimes she just is shy and no. She's controlling you. She doesn't like you walking off and having a conversation and having fun. She likes to keep you on your toes and in her face so she can control the situation because she doesn't know how to interact with other kids because something's wrong with her. Get her the help that she needs. No, that's just the way she... Okay. All right.
Hey, DJ.
Yo.
That's it? Good Lord. What is wrong with everyone today?
Yeah. What?
I said, what is wrong with everyone today?
BJ, this is exactly the point. Hold on, BJ. You just came on out of nowhere and then coming into the middle of a conversation. Now she's going to act like everyone else is awkward because I was in the middle of saying something and I just instead of made a long drawn-out statement. Got nothing but crickets from her and Char. She's going, what's wrong with everybody today? I was in the middle of saying something, and your response was, hey, BJ.
I was like, yeah, hey, what? I heard the end of what you were saying. Yeah, I was like, okay, what? Long day. Gee whiz. But I'm good.
What are you guys talking about? I just missed. That didn't make any sense to me.
Oh my God!
Went right over my head.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I just came on. So how you? What? No.
I mean, I heard Char and Hey BJ.
That should be my question.
I think she was even there.
That should be my question.
Hey BJ.
Hey.
I don't even know why you mentioned Char in that what you call it. It should have just been
context.
Like Kai. Are you gonna just ignore what I'm saying? Like you already know Char wasn't listening.
No, I wasn't, but it wasn't intentional. I was listening for the longest, and someone asked me, "How can I be in your show? Can I say something?" I was like, "You have to call in." That's literally what I was saying too. It was one of the directors up there. She was asking.
All that stuff Logic was saying is like, well, I got to tell Anna, but you didn't hear it, Char?
No, she literally stopped me. Are you on the radio? I'm like, yes.
She was really immersed in that person's question. That's what it was.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, she goes, well, what are you guys talking about now? And I'm like, okay, well, I can't explain all this while I'm on the air. It was just hilarious what she was asking. So, hey, I was putting a plug in. Okay, I was putting a plug in basically is what it came down to. So, for the show. Therefore, I missed all the excitement. Hi, BJ.
Hello.
So we were talking about how your childhood baggage is affecting your relationship. Do you have any examples of that?
Childhood baggage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Things that happened when you were a child. Things that happened when you were a child, BJ.
When I was a child, do I have any baggage? Hold on. First of all, say that again, because I just seem like a crazy reason to say that my brain is like on marketing right now. So just tell me something. Yes, give me something.
It could be things from childhood. It could be things that you saw your parents go through. It could be things you were taught. It could be so many things, or things you've been through.
He's talking to his marketing panel. He's like, hey, okay. Throw out some ideas here, and I'll just pick up whatever's good for me.
No, it wasn't that.
He's in, and he's like, whoa.
This meeting was crazy. Because I'm trying to get this billboard thing going on from Philadelphia. But yeah, I didn't have any crazy childhood. I had to think of that. Do another question. I had to think of that.
Well, like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily
BJ, that is a question.
Be you. It doesn't have to necessarily be you, but like if you had a girlfriend that, she was just really crazy in the relationship because, I don't know, her dad wasn't around, so that really affected her, so she had father issue, or her mother abandoned her, so, she had issues with abandonment or stuff like that.
No.
Well, mine is I have trust issues. I don't trust people, at all. I don't trust people. And because I have trust issues and I have issues emotionally stemming from childhood, I usually just keep people away from me because it's just like, why? So I just don't care. It takes me a long time to care. And then if I start caring, I'll actually start treating you bad because I don't want to care about you. So
and you mean to tell me that your marriage didn't work?
That's what I'm saying. That's
that was not my fault. That was not my fault. I actually am one of the few people who recognize my issues and try to get over it. I was super nice to him until I just couldn't be nice anymore because it was going nowhere. And that was after freaking 9-10 years. I would cook him food, and I would cook and then walk the food over to him. I would run a bath for him. I would do all kind of stuff. Bought him a car, bought him a TV. I was super nice.
No offense, Kai, but we hear this all the time, that a woman has done all of this little house on the prairie stuff.
Look, I don't lie to y'all.
I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm just saying you got to understand that kind of statement really doesn't mean anything, because all these women out here claim that they were Ozzie and Harriet, and he just turned into Ike Turner and was just abusing. And all I wanted to do was just love him And he just did not, whatever.
And you know what?
Whatever.
That's what I think he's banking on. So he probably goes and tells people his convoluted version of the story. And I don't know. But whatever. I was super nice to him until, like I said, I couldn't be nice anymore. Like when we got together, he used to marvel at how I didn't argue, how I didn't yell. And I don't know if he kept trying to test me to see at what point I would break. But then,
see, this is my point. This
him,
is my point. I keep trying to tell you about this guy. Stop. Just don't go any further. What you are describing is feminine behavior. So, like, if any guy was happy that his woman didn't argue, just imagine BJ's facial expression when you tell him this guy started to test you to see if you would argue about stuff. Like, try to provoke you into an argument. That's a woman's tactic. That's like, guys don't want to argue. You know what I mean? That's typically a thing that a dude doesn't want to do. Where girls tend to, not all the time, but they tend to like let things fester, and they let it build up, and then they, something happens in the kitchen, and the dirty glass turns into an argument about the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, that's usually things that women are notorious for doing. So what you're describing is some guy holding on to an argument that you had, or she says she don't argue. Let's see if she really doesn't argue. I'm going to do this on purpose.
I can't see that,
So that sounds like a guy.
Like, that's the only thing I could
just
think about, because I can't see an adult doing certain things that he did. Like, it could be that he was just dumb as a bag of bricks, but certain things that he did, I just can't see an adult doing. So I don't know. The first time I yelled at him was because I told y'all this. He took my car, left his car, and left the car completely on empty. I couldn't even make it to the gas station, which was down the road. Then when I called him, he didn't answer his phone. So I actually started out my message really calm, and then it ended with me screaming my head off. And that's the first time I yelled at him.
Did you run out of gas?
Constant little dumb shit like that.
Did you run out of gas? Kai, did you actually run out of gas, or did you just barely make it to the gas station? There's a difference in how you would
to the gas station. He left the car on E. Who the frick does that?
Yeah. I can see the anger. I was just trying to picture.
I've been driving since I was 15, and I'm almost 40. And in all that time, I've actually run out of gas one time, and that was in my early 20s. And I had full coverage. I have full coverage insurance, so they just came out. So it was like I was still kind of, responsible. But in one time in my whole life have I run out of gas. So I'm like, who would when your car starts hitting empty, you know how much more miles you have. You know it. You know your car. So why would you leave somebody your car when you know it's on fumes? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I hear you say girls all say that, but I will tell you both sides of the story. Like I told you, the one time I ever touched him was he was just sitting there. I'm yelling at him about something he did. He was just sitting there, just staring off into La La Land, not listening to me, and I poked him in his head because I actually lost it. Like, are you freaking kidding me? You're not listening? And I poked him in his head. That's the one time I've ever touched him. Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I will tell you the truth of what happened. If I was the antagonist, I would tell you. If I wasn't, I would tell you. It is what it is. You're in a relationship, you live and you learn. What sense would it be for me to lie to you about why the relationship broke up? The relationship is done, so it doesn't matter who broke up with who or why it broke up or whatever. It doesn't matter. But my point is, because of my emotional baggage and a bunch of other baggages that I have, before him, all my past relationships were just one-sided. Like, I really didn't care. I didn't care, and I didn't treat people well. I just didn't. And I was not really, I guess I didn't care enough to see it. You know what I'm saying? And then the day I saw it, I was like, well, when I talk to somebody again, I need to be better because I'm turning into this horrible person and I didn't want to. So to this day, I still have trust issues. I don't make friends very easily. Mm-hmm. When friends come into my life, and I think this came from the military, as Logic and I were talking, when friends come into my life, I already expect them to leave. Like, okay, you're going to be here for a little while, so why get close to you? And I just don't get close to people.
That's good.
So that's my emotional and trust and a bunch of other stuff, baggage. I know I have baggage dealing in the relationship with my kids from childhood. So that's my thing. I'm aware of a lot of it, but I'm not a psychologist, so I know I'm not aware of all of it, and I don't know how to fix it. So, and icing on top of the cake, I don't trust doctors, so I don't trust a psychologist to care enough to listen to what I have to say to give me advice. I think they just want me to keep coming back. Oh, let's delve into this. Let's delve more into this. And just keep getting my money. So I don't go to a psychologist either.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking, who in the world can date Kai? I'm like, wow. It's like,
I'm not a horrible person, Jack.
No, I didn't say you was horrible. No, that's not horrible. It's like, that's work. Right? Yeah, that's work.
I think people should have to take a test to get a license to marry.
Yeah,
and you should also have to take a psychological test. You should also have to take a psychological test to have a kid.
And they can
that's good.
I agree with that. I think that's a great idea. I wish it was mandatory.
Nobody would be getting married and nobody would be having kids. Good Lord.
No.
Human race would die off.
The marriage would be like down low. Even though the numbers be low. So yeah.
Well, he just said to have kids too. They would need to take a psychological test to have kids also.
Right.
The human race would just die off.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I think there'd be less divorces. eHarmony does something close to that, the compatibility questionnaire. I think it's like 20 pages.
No, you're saying less divorces, but there
eHarmony.
Yeah, it's a compatibility questionnaire.
That's still around.
It is not. It is a computer. Listen.
Everybody.
Wait, Char. No.
It really does make
Char,
sense. I think
Stop it, Char.
Okay.
You need to stop it.
Let me ask Char.
Okay.
Let me ask Char a serious question.
Isn't that what you had in mind, compatibility questionnaire?
Okay, Char, let me ask you a serious question. We have 12 minutes left. Do you think you have emotional baggage that you bring into relationships? Any kind of relationship, friendships?
Yes, I do. Everybody does.
What are your childhood baggages?
Okay, it's not really childhood. It's just relationship experience baggage that I bring in. It's two things, and I'll make it quick. The first thing is you don't trust people. I'm too trusting, so it's the opposite of you, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is I always freaking tell my freaking business to my new relationships about my old relationship issues. I always do. Once I get used to them and get comfortable and I'm all the way in, and you know how you think you're comfortable with someone, and you know how you do the pillow talk, and everybody, you're both exchanging, life experiences and just, whatever, stories. That's when it slips in. And I do it, and I totally feel like it's an issue because the person's going to judge you. It's still baggage. They're going to judge you based on that baggage.
Why you talk about an old relationship? What's your new relationship? That's just ridiculous.
No, BJ, who doesn't? You know how many people do this and don't realize they're doing it? Once you get comfortable, because no one starts out a relationship being a jerk. You know that. So everyone's, most people are in their best behavior, male, female, right? So when you get comfortable with someone is when you really start exchanging stories. You know what I mean? And you're about your past and what you want and your future, and you're opening up. And that's when casually you're thinking you're just sharing some of the things you've been through, but you're never expecting that it's baggage, and you're never expecting it to be held against you. And that, at some point. That's why you don't tell.
I didn't think talking about your previous relationship was considered.
Thank you.
Like if you're constantly talking about your previous relationship,
that's comparing.
That's comparing.
Wrong. Yeah, that's like comparing.
But, I don't think just talking, not even comparing, but just say, just talking about, in my last marriage, this is what happened, and, just talking. You know what I'm saying? Because you're getting to know the person, and in getting to know the person, that includes their past. My thing is, if you're constantly bringing up your past relationship, all the freaking time, you're still talking about your ex-boyfriend or your ex-husband, are you kidding? That's when I think it becomes baggage.
Yes.
You're not over this.
Oh, I agree. No, it's not. It's not anything to that extent. I just feel like if you had issues in the past, period, with whoever, just don't bring it up. It doesn't matter if they ask you. Even in dinner, dinner, whining and dining, just say, oh, just didn't work out. Don't go into specifics. I mean, just don't do it because, ladies, it'll come back to haunt you. No, it's never excessive, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's so easy to slip that in at any point in any relationship, especially when you trust that person. Let them talk about their exes. Let them run with it. Who cares? You
don't think, and we talked about this before, like a couple, 2-3 years ago, you don't think you have an issue with being alone?
Oh, absolutely not. Because whenever the relationships I've ever had, no, absolutely not. It's always me not wanting it at all and ignoring the person for months and, God forbid, years, and finally they get me. One thing I will say is if you keep hounding me and pushing me, there's a chance, you might win. You might just eventually be able to go on a date or whatever.
Well, that's every single dude you ever talk to on the face of the planet. That's what guys do.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean certain people. Just certain people that are persistent. Not everybody, but my point is I'm not easy. My point is I am hard to get because all the men have always said that. Oh, you just play so hard to get. You take you never pay attention. You don't return any calls. You don't like anybody. But when they finally get that point.
Men say that because they think women find that, attractive. Oh, you're playing hard to get. But then they turn around and talk to their boys and be like, man, she's a thought.
Yeah, well, in my case, I'm not playing anything. I'm just literally saying, leave me alone, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's me saying that, and they feel like I'm being a dick.
Not to be disrespectful, but since you've been on air, which is, 5 years, you've been in 3 different relationships.
No,
damn.
You're constantly in a relationship.
No, wait.
Damn.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. She's right. You're right, Kai. But Kai's right. But to my defense, the first one was 10 years ago. That's a long time. Remember? The sugar daddy, that was 10 years. And then the second one, that lasted for 1 year. You guys knew all about that.
The sugar daddy.
So, what happened?
Yeah, but my thing is, we actually sat you down and had an intervention with you, and we were like, you need to be by yourself for a year. You didn't even last, 3 months?
You guys compromised 6 months with me. First you said a year, and I said, oh, my God, a year. And then BJ, I think it was BJ's Char.
So
you got
at least 6 months. You didn't even get to the 6 months.
I did.
6 months,
And you were with somebody else.
I absolutely did. No, I absolutely did. As a matter of fact, it was 7 months.
You did not get to 6 months, Char.
I promise you I did. I did. Listen, if you realize it's been 3 years,
I'm not gonna put all your business out there, but
I didn't get to 6 months. I waited for real. Trust me. I know exactly when that happened, and I know exactly how long I waited.
I didn't even nobody else could see, or say a or what is it, yay or nay.
It was 7 months. I was so proud of myself.
If you remember, Char, making it to the 6 month mark, say yay.
7. I made it to 7. It was 6 1/4. We had a week and a half left going into 7 months. I kid you not. I was so proud of myself. It was hard. I didn't say it was easy. I begged you guys to. You guys told me a year. I couldn't do the year. Yes.
Crickets.
6 1/4 into 7. It's like it was almost 7 months. You guys told me, hey, a year. I was like, no.
If you remember that Char did not even make it close to 6 months, say nay.
Nay.
I don't want to hear nobody texting or calling that because I know I honestly did wait.
We need your steel trap memory here. How long did Char stay single? Is Logic there? Logic
is running crickets right now.
I don't know. I didn't think about it, but to be honest with you, I don't even think that this should center on Char because this is a much bigger issue, personally.
No, I wasn't trying to center on her, but I was asking each and everybody, their emotional baggage story, and I wanted to know if Char was aware of hers. So that's all.
Well, I mean,
okay.
we can see by behavior that most people aren't aware, and it's gotten so bad in society that people actually look at bad behavior like it's normal. You got girls out here thinking that it's okay to smash every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes along, but they still deserve a ring somehow. And then you have guys out here that think it's okay to just have kids out of wedlock constantly, and like, I'm just looking for the right woman. You have 4 kids. How did you not know what kind of woman you're looking for yet? Like, what are you? You know what I mean? It's a lot of.
You can't look for the right woman without getting somebody pregnant.
Well,
very true, Kai. I agree.
But so one of the questions is basically if you do have issues that you're bringing into relationships, how do you go about fixing that so you don't affect your relationship? So one of the things you did say is to seek help, professional help, which has a really high stigma against it for some odd reason. People don't like to seek professional help. Is there any other way?
Actually,
I guess
you know what?
Conscious of yourself?
That would make me like a girl even more. If she told me, I need to take it slow because I've been talking to my therapist, and I don't want to let myself get away with it. Now, of course, I will have a follow-up therapist. What's going on? Are you all right? What's happening? And if she says, I didn't like the road I was traveling down, and I've been in therapy, for these past couple of months and realized that I had some unresolved issues from my relationship with my father, and I'm trying to work my way through it. That would make me look at her in a whole new light, as in this is somebody that I could definitely be with, because she's taking the initiative to self-reflect and to fix it and not hinge it on, her relationship and you're supposed to help me through this and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people out there that would not do that work. They'll just bury themselves in sex, drugs, or alcohol and act like everything's fine. I'm fine. I'll work my way through it. And I don't care. I'm going okay. No. So whoever still has a stigma about therapy, you're stuck in some old 1950s mentality where it's like, oh, you must be crazy. If you're stupid enough to still think that way about therapy, then you don't need to be in a relationship. Something's wrong with you.
Well, I'm just going to have a bunch of girls in the counselor's office. I'm here to fix myself.
They should be.
I just want to be a better person. I want to be a greater me, Logic. I mean, just look out for those emails. They're going to be coming through.
That's the ones that need therapy.
Teach me.
Y'all get crazy.
Teach me.
Please.
I mean, there are girls that would do it just to get a dude. Like if a dude said, I find it sexy, blah, 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 like Logic said, she would do it just to get the guy, hence the emotional baggage.
Absolutely. Big mistake is in telling that anyway.
That's crazy. To go to therapy to get a guy? That's crazy. I know. It is. It's still crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
And then if the guy still doesn't like her, she'll be like, I went to therapy for you. What?
Yeah,
he was going to for the wrong person. He was going for the wrong reason.
That's not surprising because you have dudes that use their own children as props. Like if it's time, like right now, since it's springtime and there's a lot of skirts coming out downtown, there's
babies
dudes
will
that
be brought out in strollers.
You go ahead. You got it.
Babies will be brought out in strollers. Babies.
I actually didn't know that until Logic told me that. Like, I was not aware about that.
Yeah.
But
it's actually true.
But when he told me that, I did realize that if I see a guy with their child, I think that's hot. Like, I'm like, oh, he's with his baby. But in reality,
it's adorable. He's safe. He's a safe guy.
Got her. Got one.
Yep. Yep.
Well, obviously,
exactly.
being me, I'm not going to talk to you, but I like seeing it. I'm just going to be like, oh, my gosh.
See, that right there.
He's a nurturer.
Is in your mental. Got you right there. Got it. Yeah.
Like I saw, like it one of these rollouts that I'm doing for my IT, I saw this guy in his cubicle. He had a picture of, I think it was little hands pointed upside down, and it says, "You're the best dad, hands down." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute."
That's voice.
Yeah, he could have had it. He could have had it down out just because he knew women were going to say that.
Really?
Well. So anyways, to wrap it up, basically you need to be aware that you do have issues that you're bringing into the relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm not just talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage. I'm also talking about friendships and relationships with your children. You need to be aware of what you're bringing into said relationship, and you need to go get professional help. That's really the only way to fix it. So like Logic said, he thinks it's hot if a woman goes to get professional help to fix herself. But remember, you're not doing it to get a dude. You're doing it to better yourself. So that's our show for tonight. And if you have any stories about, your emotional baggage ruining a relationship or somebody that you know, go ahead. You can always text our hotline, and we'll talk about it on our next show, 484-840-3627. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Peace out.
Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye from the city of Las Vegas. The city
oh, my God. How many times are you going to say bye?
I don't know. She's thinking.